speaking about guns, and say, okay, but I don't see any gun. Where is your gun? I don't think you have the gut to shoot me. Don't try this at home, okay? I'm still alive to say, don't try it. But I say, I don't think you can do anything to me. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I think it's more dangerous for you than for me, this situation. And I was so confident that this guy actually got scared. But it was like a 50 years old, in brackets, mafia man, from the South, like very scary. He got scared because they're very superstitious. And he let us pass.
Welcome everyone to the third episode of Sahaj Times podcast. My name is Lele. I'm the host of this podcast, and with me there is always the one and only Fabrizio Trezza. How are you, Fabrizio?
Hello, everyone. Very happy and excited to be here. It's been a lot of fun so far with the podcast.
Yes, so it's been a lot of fun, and we have received a lot of feedbacks. I mean, I said it in the previous episode, but there is only one problem, Fabrizio, is that I receive no feedbacks. You're the only one who is receiving feedbacks. Literally, I received texts from Fabrizio of people saying, like, I've seen the podcast, it's really lovely, I love it, thank you, it's really cool. I don't know, Nirmala Vidya texted you, LeBron James texted you, everyone is texting you, but no one is texting me. So, like, I know nothing about this. So,
I'm the gate.
Yeah, you're the gate. You definitely always carry this podcast.
And possibly I could be making it all up and it's not real. That's another possibility.
I was thinking about it. Maybe it just wants to make me happy. I don't know, like that would be a problem.
There is a 10% chance of that, let's say, in a scenario.
Yeah, we can call it Maya. There is a Maya, Lele. This podcast.
No, but so far I would say, again, maybe we take a moment to say thank you to everyone because we received a lot of very sweet comments. Some generic comments maybe we can make is that the first episode, there was a lot of interest into growing in Sahaja Yoga, Yuva Shakti, relationship with parents. So that's something that we will try to explore also as we move forward, how Yuva can integrate into the collective. And I think the second podcast, obviously, the stories with Shri Mataji, that's just, makes people happy. It had amazing reviews.
Yes, it's totally true. But we have to look forward, so to this new episode. And we have a guest. Do we have a guest, Fabrizio?
Tonight, we have a very special guest. I won't say the name because I want him to appear. I'll just give the description first. So first, for those that they know him, I'm sure they're going to have a huge smile on their face. And they know that tonight is going to be spicy and happy. So he's from Rome. We actually came in Sahaj at the same time in 2002. He was a Yuva when he came in Sahaj. So he can offer a lot of that perspective of growing up in Sahaj, especially from somebody that came from outside. I think that's quite interesting. He's been in the collective for 20 years and plus. He's a very active yogi, definitely in the fields of giving self-realization, but also in certain ways in the fields of leadership. I have very sweet connection with him because actually was one of the organizers at the marriages in Rome when I got married. So that's something that I hold very dear in my heart.
That's his fault then.
Exactly. My wife is still upset at him for the whole situation. And also recently, for example, he's working on other projects. Like last year, actually was helping us with some marriage workshops. This year he's working on the 100 years birthday of Shri Mataji, etc., etc. Professionally also has a very interesting profile. He's a cultural disseminator and you could say philosopher. Actually, he's a fairly well known, I would dare say, in the national context. And what is also cool that he actually specializes on East and West philosophy, comparative analysis, if you wish, which is again is something that I think is very nice in a Sahaj context. So, without further ado, Lele, I'll give you the honor to
Yes,
mention the
sure.
name.
Because our guest is my uncle in Sahaj, is my brother outside of Saja Yoga, is my gym buddy at the gym, but is also my biggest rival at the football stadium, especially this week. And you know why? Welcome to the podcast to Adriano Ercolani.
Here I
Welcome,
am,
Adriano.
bringing the truth, with my only presence.
Of
I
course,
will,
as
I,
always.
I will stay silent. You can contemplate my face, and that will be all.
How are you, Adriano?
Well, this question, let me be aware that it's evident that I'm not well this period. No, I'm joking. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm so
It-
glad to spend my time with two lovely and sensitive brothers as you are.
Thank you really much. So, let's get into the topic of this episode because even though in the last like 3 or 4 months I've been taking my decisions just following my heart, I have this tendency to think a lot. You know, like I overthink stuff. I really try to process any information that I receive also on a mental level. And now, if you say anything like that in Sahaja Yoga, maybe
I
someone might
always
say,
thought that you were mental, actually. So
I
we
mean,
agree.
of course. And every time you try to say something like that in Sahaja Yoga, someone might say, you're thinking too much, you might be quite mental, so it's not really the Sahaj way." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, but also I was thinking, so what is like the total opposite of being too mental? Maybe it's being fanatic. It's like fanaticism. And okay, that's a good point. And I was talking to Fabrizio, we were chatting because we are always chatting. And I was sharing these ideas for the new episode, and he was like, "You would never believe it." But yesterday I was reading a mother's speech talking about mentalism, fanaticism, and wisdom. And I was like, okay, wisdom, that is what is between these two concepts. And I was like, okay.
We are embodying these three different
And here
attitudes.
we are.
Yeah, yeah, no, you know.
That's why we have the guest in the middle, which is the
Yeah,
wisdom.
no, you actually got me because I can be both mental and fanatic at the same
At the
time.
same time.
And that's actually the first question, because you are a philosopher, but so you need to be mental. But at the same time, at the beginning of your Sahaj career, you were a little bit fanatical. I've been
Tiny
told.
little, just tiny little bit.
I've been told. So
Tiny
it's
little
like,
bit.
how do you deal with it? How did you deal with it, and how do you still deal with it?
Wow, with the carefree attitude of a Gemini that actually doesn't care about anything. But beside joke, I think this is the main point, and of I don't. It's not an hyperbole. It's the main point of human evolution, and it's also the main challenge of being a yogi. I try to say it in a sober way. Since Sahaja Yoga is quite a recent uh, religious movement, but it is connected with an eternal source of truth and wisdom. We are dealing with the human ability of absorbing a divine truth. Okay. So after thousands of years, especially in the Western countries, no, now Sahaja Yoga, I think this is the point that sometimes we miss. Sahaja Yoga is a divine revelation, but it has been bestowed to mankind in a way that we can prove it
Mhm.
for ourselves on an empirical level through our experience. So it's not blind faith. That's the
Yeah,
difference Shri Mataji explains between Shraddha, Bhakti and Shraddha, no? The devotion and the enlightened faith,
yeah,
not the blind faith, not the dogmas, okay? And as an individual, as a Yuva Shakti, being an intellectual before Sahaj, of course, when you meet this great experience, this sudden revelation, this powerful crossroad, okay, the decisive crossroad of your life, I think it is necessary a brief period of, in brackets, fanaticism, when you drop off everything and you just focus such treatments, meditation, way. So that is, I think, necessary in Sahaja Yoga, especially for a person like us, like me. I speak for myself, who I came in Sahaja, I was 22, but I had a very lively youth. So my experience were like a 45 years old one,
You know,
also
Lele,
in...
Adri, sorry to interrupt, but because you just
No,
said
no
something
worries.
made me think about this. The very first time I met you was at the national seminar,
Uh-huh.
and you had caught on fire working yourself with a candle like few days
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if
yeah,
you
yeah.
remember. And then I
Well,
just met
I was not established yet, because then I read that was a, let's say, in brackets, a miracle, because actually
no, but
Mother
but,
says in a speech that if the elements attacks you, like fire attacks you, you're not a yogi. So I wasn't a yogi yet, I think, but I became a yogi through the fire baptisms, because what happened? Uh, I got burned in a quite serious way,
yeah, I remember.
but I didn't care. So I just went to the
Exactly.
national seminar. It was my first national seminar. So now I came back just to give you the idea or the level of insane fanaticism, not the blind faith to say, okay, vibrations will heal everything. And actually they did, but after a while, because when I came back, I went to the hospital, and the hospital say, this is very serious. This you have to, it's not a joke, blah, blah, blah. So there was this very painful treatment. So I went back home. I dived underneath the altar. I've done the longest namaskar ever, asking Shri Mataji by her grace. And then when I went there to heal, somehow to spare me this torture, and when I went the day after the hospital, I say, what happened? Everything is fine. And it was completely gone. I have no scars at all. But it's
Amazing.
technically impossible. What is the common mistake that I find, but I find also, especially in my young version? Okay, of course, intellectual thinking, it's dust. It's nothing compared to the silence of meditation. Okay. What is the problem? The problem is that when we do not think, but we are not in tolerance awareness. So the
Yes.
point is that if we study all the great authors that Shimadaji advised us to read, and we study the life and the message of also Adigurus, like Sri Socrates, for example, they taught us the correct thinking, the correct reasoning
Yeah.
that is not in contradiction with the meditative silence. I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Logic, there's a beautiful example in the Buddhist culture. If you have to cross a river, you need a boat. You need the boat. When you reach the land, you don't bring the boat with you on your shoulder anymore. So I think it's supposed to be our relation with our logic. My point is very simple. If words and intellect were useless, why the Adishakti spoke every day for hours, explain
Yeah.
everything with words and with concepts? Of course, to lead our limited human awareness to a higher level, to a divine level, to a superhuman level. But you have to pass through it to reach that.
You know, Adri, on this journey that you described, no? Like when you come in Sahaj, first open the heart and then move on. There's actually, you made me think of a very nice story with Shri Mataji. So basically, this is very sweet. There was a yogi who had two kids, I think, and they were in the age of 10 to 15. So remember this data, 10 to 15 years old, the kids.
Uh-huh.
And he asked Shri Mataji advices on how to help the kids grow up. And Shimaji said, between 0 and 5, the kids needs only to learn obedience and innocence, nothing
Of
else, only obedience. Between 6 to 10, their brain is developed enough so that they can actually start comprehend. So you tell them, don't do this because
because
A, B, C, D, right? So there's an evolution. You're moving forward.
yeah,
And then she said, between 16 to 20, you can actually become their friend. Like you can develop a relationship like peers to them, you know? And then obviously the yogi said, well, what about 10 to 15, which was, you know? And then Shimaji had a big smile, like, well, that you'll have to find out now. So she tell him, she's amazing.
I
But what
think
it
I
made me
think we
think,
are in that phase. I think
exactly,
collectively we are
exactly.
10 to 15.
But that's
Because
what
Shimadachi, she's
maybe,
not spoon feeding us anymore daily,
exactly,
but we have to
exactly.
find out, I
Not
guess.
only that, but to me, the understanding of Sahaja Yoga, I mean, and we cannot be linear because everybody has a different understanding and timing, obviously. But if you want to generalize a bit, it's like you see the first 5 years, as you described, is about cleansing, is about just opening your heart, finding Shimaraji. You don't need to understand what you're doing. You just need to feel
You have
good.
to do it.
You need to feel connected. And if you see the little children now that go to Sahaj schools that are very small, what do they learn in Sahaj school? They offer flowers to Shimaraji. They don't have huge seminar on the meaning of
Yeah, of
detachment,
course.
right?
Yeah,
They feel Sahaj. So that's the 0 to 5. Then, as you correctly say, I think there is a period of time where it's 6 to 10 for kids, but as a yogi, you know, where you're a bit older, let's
yeah,
say,
yeah,
or
yeah.
when you for a long time,
The
where
same
you
the
have to
same pattern of
start.
evolution.
Exactly. You need to start understand why we do things inside. For example, it's not enough to just go to the puja. You should be curious. Why do we offer rice? What does it mean? Because in the moment you know what rice mean,
Of course.
then you just experience in a different way. Or for example, when we
Of
sing bhajans, this is
You have to
something
know the
I
words. You have to know what they mean.
I
Of
love,
course.
exactly. I love reading the English
Why we sing
translation.
Vishwavandita at that moment? Why we sing
Exactly.
Tuja Pujani before? Yeah,
Is
of
a
course.
different you it's like you're now 7 8 years old, you know, you're intelligent enough to let Sahaj enter your heart and your brain at the same time. And then I think once you figure out all of that magnificently, that's where you really can just be thoughtless, you know what I mean?
Exactly, exactly.
Then you're
Also
you're
because
messy.
all the rituals and all,
Mhm.
Mother says in Switzerland, I think in 1982, she explained that pujas are like the tricks that mankind used not to get
Yeah,
boons from the god, from the deities, and all these rituals. I always thought, if you see in the 100 names of Shimadaji, um, she's Bhakti Gamya, but the one who can be reached through Bhakti.
yeah,
In the hymns to the goddess that we actually sing in
sing in
Sadhu,
Sahaja Yoga, yeah.
doing the Navaratri, they say, I think in English, she's the difficult river and the other side of the land.
Mm-hmm.
The previous example of
Yeah,
the boat and the river, no?
yeah,
So
yeah,
Shimadaji, she is the path and the goal of the path. Okay,
yeah.
so the bhakti you know, the mother, she explains now when she commented the Bhagavad Gita, she say we have to reach the level of Ananya Bhakti, where there is no other. No, the Bhakti works only when we are one with the divine. But how you become one with the divine? Through the Bhakti.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
The circle. Yeah.
these are the paradoxes. All the Zen tradition, no, is based on paradoxes, because you have to overcome your mind. The mind cannot grasp the divine. All the mystics, poets of all time, you know, Sri Shankaracharya, no? In India, he is considered a partial embodiment, incarnation of Shri Shiva, partial because, of course, Shri Shiva cannot fully be incarnated in a human body. We know how much Shri Mataji praised him. And Mother explains exactly this, like Shankara was the most sophisticated theologian of his times. He actually put order in the Vedic canon. Okay, before the Vedic scriptures were quite scattered around them, he put them in order. So he made a huge intellectual work to create a canon of scriptures. Then Mother says he gave up the theological debates, saying they were Shabda Jalam, a web of words, and he dissolved in the Bhakti, writing that masterpiece that we know as the Saundaya Lahari, the Ocean of Beauty, that is actually the sheer description of the body of the goddess, which is the universe itself. But to reach that level, first,
you have to do the work.
You know what I mean? He read and commented, understood and explained all the previous scriptures. Now, there is a satirical poet in Chinese literature. They say, if you are not enlightened, you cannot read the Holy Scriptures because you won't get it. You are not enlightened to understand it. If you are enlightened, if you already have got your self-realization,
you don't need
to read it anymore. So, of course, it's a paradox, no? To show the contradiction, but somehow, as human beings, they are turning into Sahaja yogis. We are doing this path of transformation. Somehow we abide this contradiction and we have to solve it, no? So we have to pass through it.
Another one is also, again, a personal experience. It was quite funny. I was in an ashram, a true story, and we're having tea, chai, sitting, having a good time. And a pipe bursts, on the hydraulic system. And so we're all sitting there, and the yogis start giving abandon for the pipe. And I was like, guys, we just need to call a plumber. You know what I mean?
That's very meaningful.
Literally, I'm not kidding. We all gave abandon. Everybody gave abandon, and then we continued sipping tea. And I was like, yeah, but the angel is not gonna just come down and fix the pipe. Also because it's not his job. It's not fair to us there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Before you mentioned about the Amsa Chakra, no? If you remember, when we were young, mischievous youths, I think the title of this podcast should be, of this episode, The Importance of Being Mischievous. Anyway, beside jokes, I used to say always this joke, like the Kundalini didn't pass to the Amsa, no? About someone who made something, about myself. So, okay. Then I find out that what Shri Mataji explains, like the Kundalini doesn't pass through our Amsa Chakra.
Yeah.
We develop our Amsa Chakra through our experiences.
Yeah. which is key.
So that's why William Blake wrote Song of Innocence and Experience. That's why if we are only close in the Sahaj world, you cannot develop the discrimination to speak to people about Sahaja Yoga, because you will use a Sahaj slang, a Sahaj code, you will use a Sahaj glossary, and people will misunderstand it because we use a lot of words that have a different meaning in the non-yogis.
Outside world, yeah.
Yeah, so when the basic of communication is the other person, the receiver of the message must be able to understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
If you impose your code, you're like, even if I have and it is the most important thing of the world to say, but I say in a way, in a language, in a code that other people don't, that the person doesn't understand, I'm wasting the
The
my
opportunity to connect.
time, I'm wasting this huge opportunity to develop uh, and to spread the truth. But I think it's time, Lele, for a very funny and revealing anecdote. Do you agree?
Go on.
In a beautiful way, and I'm quite moved because I think this is really the ultimate revelation. I won't mention the name of
The
our sweet
name.
brothers, but everybody will understand it. Everybody who knows him will understand him. We will visualize like a mandala his face beaming light of knowledge. So, as Fabri mentioned at the beginning, I was I've been a Yuva Shakti. Then when towards my 30s, with other new uncles, okay, Yuvas at heart, we felt the responsibility to Lele. You were too young, but
Too young,
maybe
I
sometimes
think. I was
You
too young.
you
experience.
yeah, to enjoy these crazy adventures. But we felt the responsibility to help the Yuvas to stay in Sahaj. Me and Fabri, we had the luck to grow up in Sahaj with very established yogis
Yeah.
that help us to settle down in Sahaj, avoiding all the temptations outside, because we had fun. Like it was fun to be in Sahaja Yoga for us. Every Saturday we were having like a meditation and bhajas, but it was like a party really. We were enjoying that. And we found out when we were growing that the next generation of Yuvas, they were not having that experience. They were getting bored. They were getting like distant from. So we try to make something about it, and we organize these such tours, realization tours with all these Yuvas from, I don't know, teenagers basically, no? So we went
Yes.
in the south of Italy, in the regions of Italy where Sahaja Yoga was not yet at the time established. So we were, me and other young uncles, we were organizing this trip. There were like, I don't know, 23 Yuva Shakti from 13 years old to 17 years old, all the parents that were trusting us, no? So it was also a responsibility on a human level. So we were, you know, looking for the right place, calling different place, where to stay, which van we need to rent, blah blah. This yogi, this amazing brother, walked by, look at us with disdain and disappointment, and like, what are you doing? We're organizing the trip. Ah, you organize the trip. What about the divine? Say, sorry, what are you saying? We have 23 kids, no? They need to sleep and eat, and
The
we have to
hotel and the van.
8 hours trip to the south of Italy. And then he looked at me very solemnly and he asked me, are you an atheist? If you organize a trip, it's an insult to the divine because it's a lack of faith. So his
Yeah.
plan was to go there somehow with no organization, and then if you are connected, everything will, you know, that I think this is a extreme example.
Yeah.
Yes, and actually, I'm really curious about one thing because when we talk about fanaticism, usually you see it in other people, but you don't see it in yourself.
I've seen
Because
it myself a lot.
okay, but when the Shraddha is right,
Mm,
when you're in the
yeah,
right place,
yeah.
sometimes also it comes out as bravery because I don't know, like you kind of get blessed from this state. And here I'm going towards a
I
story
know where you're going.
that is really, I love it really much. Maybe it's a little bit intense, but you know that I am a no filters guy, so I would love if you could share it. Why did you have problems with the mafia during a tour?
Well, I think that was a divine gift to live this like kind of Godfather experience doing a such tour. No, that was really. Now I can say it was fun. In that moment, it was a little bit tense, but
Uh-huh.
so there are 2 episodes. There are 2 episodes.
So the
Yeah.
story starts with somebody missed a payment. No, I'm just kidding.
And they came to me with no respect. No, I'm joking. Yeah,
It
actually,
started at the wedding.
she didn't like The Godfather because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
movie tells the tale of criminals in a moral way, no?
Hero way,
So
yeah.
yeah, that's wrong. So we were like in one of these Juva's tour in the south of Italy, and everybody knows how in the south of Italy there are still, unfortunately, this oppressive presence of organized criminality. So I was with like, I don't know, 20/30 Yuva Shaktis kids, and they were behaving very well. They were giving a lot of realization. So we say, okay, let's give them, like a reward. And so we organized like a trip on a small gulf. I don't know how to say in English. There was like a small, not an island, but a very beautiful place, natural. But to reach this place, you have to pass through a bathhouse, okay? And this bathhouse was owned by, let's
The mafia.
say, some guy connected with the mafia. It was absolutely legal to pass through that bathhouse. That is how it's supposed to be. But mafia, they don't deal with legal stuff very, very well. The uncle that led the group before my arrival had a brilliant idea of calling the police so we can, get our right to pass to the battles. That is the worst thing that you can do in such an environment. It's like a provocation, it's an insult. Okay, it's very dangerous actually. So he had this brilliant idea and then he left. So I arrived with all these kids that were kind of, scared, no? I say, guys, what's the problem? Let's go. This guy, the owner of the place, with this evident connection with I have to say before a disclaimer: don't try this at home. Don't do it. Okay. I don't know if it's. I don't want to be inspiring. Okay. Or, it's quite dangerous. He came to me as he asked, "Who is the leader here?" And all the kids say, "Him," of course, because I was there. So he started to make some threats. Okay, like death threats to me. And I remember one speech when Shri Mataji praised a yogi, then in a similar situation said, "You don't know who my mother is. My mother, she's very powerful, no?" So I didn't flinch, and I said, "You really made a big mistake today. You don't know who I am. You don't know who my mother is. Uh, I don't think you will sleep next days because you have to think about this huge mistake." And in the Mafia code, he didn't know. Maybe he thought I was of another family. I don't know. I say, no, but it's not on a mundane level. It's not on a human level. You made a. You don't know who my mother is. She's very powerful. You have to really be careful. And so he started to say, speaking about guns, and say, "Okay, but I don't see any gun. Where is your gun? I don't think you have the gut to shoot me. Don't try this at home, okay? I'm still alive to say, don't try it." But I say, "I don't think you can do anything to me. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I think it's more dangerous for you than for me, this situation." And I was so confident that this guy actually got scared. But he was like a 50 years old, in brackets, mafia man, from the South, like very scary. He got scared because they're very superstitious. And he let us pass. He let us pass. And they didn't bother us at all. And this is one anecdote. Another anecdote of the same days, it's very interesting. Same dynamic. It was the 15th of August. Then in Italy, it's Ferragosto. It's like, I say for the people
National holiday, yeah.
National holiday. So for the national holiday, it was like a 2 week trip. We were very tired, actually, because we were giving realization. Then during the day, we were doing a lot of sports. Now, so we say, okay, on the national holiday, we rest. But the bathhouse next to ours was belonging to these dangerous people. And actually, the week before, they killed a guy. And everybody was very, they were really low profile, no? And they were putting this, techno music very high, was very disturbing. Nobody could sleep, okay? And we had our weapons. We had all our chilies and lemons vibrated once, no? And so a brother, I once said, say, "Okay, no, this is too much. Let's go." I say, "Okay, come on, let's go." So we went there, like in the night, with chilies and lemons. We like, jumped over the fence of the other bad house owned by these dangerous people. And immediately they came to us, very threatening, very scary, like really like a mob. And there was, we won't say the names, okay? There was this, at the time it was a Yuva Shakti, a very sweet brother of us, who had this lemon. So this guy said, "What are you doing with the lemon? What do you do with the lemon?" And he said, "What do you do with the lemon? A lemon juice." So he threw the lemon at them, and they jumped one step at the back, and they were scared because they understood there was something, let's say, magic about it. Yeah, and we told them, "Yeah, so you're scared of a lemon? You, the big guys, the training guys, you are scared of a lemon?" and they stopped the music. But
But
I say
this,
again,
Adri,
don't
is a
do it,
perfect
don't do it.
story. Is a perfect story. You know why? I love it because we spent 35 minutes telling how
Huh?
important rational thought and common
Of
sense
course,
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And no, I was actually, I'll be honest, I was a bit worried because I'm thinking from outside we look like snobs, like, rational thought and the yogis, they
No
all don't know
worries.
anything.
No,
And
no.
then we tell a story of how
Suddenly,
we fought the mafia with a vibrated lemon, no? So no, but it's
yeah.
perfect. And also, I want to share with the public here listening another very funny story, which is, so we agreed about a week ago, no, that we'll start the topic by discussing the balance between emotions and rationality. And we spent quite a bit of time chatting either in a group or individually with each other on how it is important in Sahaj we have to do things professionally, that we need to
Of
be on time,
course.
and then
Course,
it's important. And then tonight at the podcast we all showed up half an hour late. and
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
and then things were not working, and then
That
it's
that
like,
show
what?
that shows that we really imbibed the Sahaj culture.
Yeah,
No, but I
totally.
think I think it's good to share this because again, um I think it's important because we that's also Sahaj, right? We understand
And we
that
were
we've been doing
connected. It was a synchronicity because we all showed at the same moment,
it late. We
all
all were
late
late
at
at
the
the
same
same
moment.
time.
We
All
are
late.
one body of a person who was late.
No, but it's good. It's good. I think it plays well, and this it was such a nice curving of like showing the other side of Sahaj, which we enjoy and we love it. We're not just here to lecture and so on and so forth.
To preach, yeah, 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 of course.
So now,
So
Adri, we spoke a
this,
lot about right side, mental, also, going a bit too much. Now I know that you have a very beautiful story and probably very opening the heart, cherished moments with Shri Mataji also. And I know that you
uh-huh.
have a quite a nice story. So I think it would be the perfect way to conclude this amazing podcast. The last question on if you can share us some moments or stories that you had with mother.
I'm
Yeah,
realizing this. I'm realizing this at this moment. Your pure desire of unifying the collective led you to your Sahaj marriage. Now I explain you how it happened. I'm just I'm connecting now the dots. It's
yeah.
You're in the zone. I can see that. We can.
moving. So Rome Collective was divided. Fabri had the beautiful idea in that moment to when Shimadaji came back in Italy in 2006. Fabri had a beautiful idea to offer to Shimadaji a booklet of photograph of all the collective of Rome. Okay, it was his idea, his project. He insisted. He personally went to all the different people that were not attending each other at the moment to take this photograph and offer the um, the Roman collective as one to Shimadaji, even though in that moment there was this separation. And then at the same time, with other yogis, I was trying to organize something, some program in Rome in a certain way, with a in a beautiful place, with a certain dignity, also related to the beauty of the city. You know what I mean? So not a program in a gym, but in a historical place. Okay. So we had these leaflets of this program in a very beautiful street of Rome, in a very nice courtyard, the historical one, with all this Renaissance architecture, blah blah blah. And then I was going on the stage after the puja to offer this program as gift to Shimadaji. And I met by chance an auntie, a yogini that now she passed away, but we all cherish her memory with great love and respect, Auntie Alda. And she had this book of photograph that Fabri organized. So after the first moment of embarrassment, because it was like we were offering the two gifts from two separate sides of the
Faction.
collection. Yeah, I actually say, Auntie, I'm part of that book. Fabri is my brother, is my friend. Why we don't go together to offer together this
Beautiful.
project? So she got moved, and we hugged each other on the stage, and we went together at Shri Mataji's feet. And Shri Mataji, she has seen this, and she said, I think in Marathi, they translated that for us, I want to come back to Rome. Okay. She expressed this desire. 1 year later, I got married. We all know with this beautiful angel that now went back. She went back in the Vaikunta where she belonged, Melissa, and an amazing, the greatest blessing of my life. One day, if you want, we can make a podcast about her in her memory and about the amazing experience and how she faced a very painful disease, and how she showed at the highest level that is not my opinion as a husband, but that everybody could
The collective
witness
acknowledgement.
the,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the, the moving depth and the highest example of the depth of a yogini. Really, it was the greatest blessing of my life to live next to her for 10 years. Anyway, after I got married with her, she was living in the castle for a period with other sweet sisters, and so we were together in Palazzo Doia in the castle singing banjos for Shri Mataji. It was Mother's Day, and I had the blessing to read a poem to Shri Mataji, Dantesque divine comedy, like
Right.
yeah. And while I was reading this very deep poem with this highly spiritual praise of the divine, my phone rang. That's one that I always have to show who I really am. And everybody laughed. And mother was laughing. And then she asked me, where do you come from? And so I say, I come from Rome. We spoke about Rome Ashram. She said, okay, next time I'll come to Rome Ashram. We are talking about 2007. Then that day I slept in the castle, and I had a dream. I had a dream, like the great man. And in this dream, we had to organize the Christmas puja, okay, because it was too cold in the castle. So they say, where we can organize the puja for Shri Mataji. I say, sorry guys, this morning she said that she would like to come in Rome. Let's organize the puja in Rome. She said that 1 hour ago. Okay. Actually, this happened the year after. And I really feel that that idea of Fabrizio led to that meeting on the stage, to that reconciliation and that offering at the feet of Shri Mataji was the spark of this, possibility to invite Shri Mataji in Rome again. We organized the Christmas puja, and that can be
It was
another
amazing.
podcast. All the
was
adventures and the stories, and then I just say this because we organized this puja, as we were saying, in 20 days, and nobody was was inscribing himself. So with my usual humility, I say, sorry, can I write the communication? Can I write the email, the official invitation? So I write this long letter, say, because if you come in Rome, if we celebrate Jesus in the city of the Antichrist, the Pope will be knocked down. Okay, I say I made this joke, and like 800 people subscribed in a few hours. It was like I think 3,000 people came. It was very huge.
Just to see the Pope getting punched on the face.
It actually happened. The point is that it actually happened. Now, maybe I'm really on the right side. I don't know. I don't know if it was a prophetical gift or I'm really to the right side. But the moment the Shimadaji landed in Rome, a lady in St. Peter fake Mardini church knocked down the Pope physically. So that shows that I was right. But beside jokes, we organized for that occasion Sahaj Marriages, and in that occasion, Fabri got married with Shakti. And so it's very beautiful because I think every such marriage is like
A
an
story to
amazing novel.
itself.
So probably each marriage of each,
Exactly.
such session has got its
It's like
own
unique.
path of synchronicities, of happy coincidence, of meaningful coincidence.
Exactly.
This one I'm aware of because we are entwined and I know. But I think it's very moving that everything started from your pure desire. And in a moment where the collective was divided, looked like Shimadaji will never come back in Italy again. Okay, you know what I mean? And it was really in few years this chain of love and unity and pure desire led to this beautiful week we spent with Shimadaji, with yogis from all around the world, and also on a personal level to your marriage.
You
So
know,
as you said before, I owe an apology to my Ragi sister Shakti.
no, but it's mind blowing because until you mentioned the book, I'd actually forgotten. I didn't remember any of this. And I remember doing that and then leaving to America like immediately after. But this will also blow your mind because basically, you know how at the beginning we're saying, the mind is needed, but it's not needed. And there's this paradox, like that everything exists at two levels at the same time, right? And the same we often think in Saj, like, does destiny really exist? Do we have free
Free
will?
will or
And
not,
and,
yeah.
and both are true, right? So
Uncle
it's
Duilio
amazing.
asked this to Shimadaji many times about the free will. And
No,
mother
and
always said, "You're free. You're free."
exactly. But then you see this insane combination of things happening, like, and that's where I was gonna end up saying, how you just described a number of apparently very random events that linked up together and led to something completely unexpected, right? But now
Well,
I tell you,
it already happened in your family. You remember, Barbara, your sister, uh, what happened with the Sahaj marriage, no?
no, I think you're gonna tell me another
Barbara
story. I
was
don't know.
supposed. Barbara was supposed. Barbara, she's an amazing yogini, and she's also a great guitar player.
Yes.
Okay, classical guitar player. She was supposed to play for Shimadaji in the Guru Puja because Italy
Okay.
was always hosting the Guru Puja with Shimadaji. But she put her name on the list and she got married, as you know very well. So she had to move to US. And
Yes.
we all told her, come on, Barbara, postpone your ticket. You can play with for Shimadaji. What are you
Fool
doing?
me.
Wait. And she said, no, I put my name on the list. I'm a married lady. I have to follow my husband. I know that Shimadaji, no, she knows, no, my desire, Martha. And then she had a dream with Shimadaji
I actually don't know.
telling
This is amazing. You're telling me the story.
yeah, ask her the permission to say it. But she said, mother, in her dream, she said, don't worry, you know how much I appreciate your music. So she
Wow.
left for US. She left for US. Then we know what happened. So mother suddenly left Italy for US,
Yeah.
and she ended up in the ashram where
But I was
Barbara was living.
leaving.
And one night she said, "Can I would like to listen to some sitar?" And they say, Shri Mataji, unfortunately, we don't have any sitar. Okay, but at least maybe you have a guitar. So actually, Barbara had a private concert for Shri Mataji that came to her house. You know what I mean, no? And
Exactly.
so, but you know, also the coincidence of my how I put my name on the list. But maybe the podcast will be 7 hours long, so maybe we save it for
The
another
last
time.
story, the last story, the last one. You can share it, Adriano.
This is very long. Long story short.
Aspetta, Adri, aspetta. Before you finish this one, let me
Uh,
close the loop so we close the previous
okay.
story.
Sì.
I mean,
No,
now we are like talking in Italian, English. We don't care about it anymore. We are just it's fine.
sfasciolata, gravissima.
Sfasciolated.
No, basically, connecting to everything you said, which I didn't know, which is quite amazing actually to learn this whole backdoor to the story of how the marriages were set up in Rome. 2 years and a half before the marriage were announced in Rome. So I think probably a little bit before you proposed the book to Shri Mataji and talked to her and started all the chain of events that will happen.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dream with Shri Mataji as well. And I know how often we say, dreams are very personal, but this one fits very well in the context of what we've been discussing.
Uh-huh.
And basically in the dream, I was in the US at that time, and Shri Mataji came to the house to visit me. And instead of, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the house. A friend of mine named Ottavio was there. Real, I'm not joking. It's a real story. And Shimaji left. It's for real. Shimaji left a book to him and say, when Fabrizio come, make him read this. It's important. So I go home in the dream, meet Ottavio, and he gives me this book, and actually it was amazing. Like as I open the book, like the book will write itself, like it and
Wow.
the voice of Shimaji was coming, and
Wow.
the words will come in gold. It was really some
Wow.
insane, happening. And Shimaji was saying, I am very happy of how you behaved so far in America. You're doing very good as a yogi. And then she said, however, I am concerned about your innocence because America is a difficult place. And if you want to know the story about this, go to the first podcast where we talk about my spiritual state. But basically, Shivaji was saying, so you have to be careful because America is a very difficult place. And then she said, so let me tell you that for you, the most auspicious time to get married is between 2 and 3 years from now. So she told me, you won't last more than that. You know what I mean? Like between 2 and 3 years, you have to get married. And literally 2 years and 6 months,
Yeah.
like right in the middle, the puja was announced in Rome. And that's how I got married. But to me, it was just like my personal story, like, okay, this happened. I got, this destiny was there. But then to hear how you did all this
Yeah.
other insane, it's just mind blowing,
But I
and to
think
get
every such marriage has got this
stories
amazing
behind. Yeah.
chain of coincidences. I
Yeah.
just tell my story quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
As you know, we grew up in Romashram in the early years of 2000s, no? So it was like the place where the applications from all over the world were coming. So you were kind of doomed there, no? Since like after 1 year such, it was like a mantra. And since I was so, let's say, full of ego, I say, guys, I always say that since I have so much ego, the divine had to convince me to do the right thing with amazing coincidence. And I always said, as Fabri knows, all these coincidence with numbers. Now
With numbers, yeah.
I won't
You
go
are
in
always
details,
the
but I
number guy.
always said since the day one in Sahaj, amazing coincidence with numbers that show me there was the right moment to do something, blah blah blah. So I always say to all the uncles, please don't bother me if the divine shows me signs for daily stuff, guess for something such a huge crossroad as my marriage. So I will know exactly the right time when I have to put my name on the list. Don't bother me. Okay. So summer 2007, I went to a Patti Smith concert, the American singer, and I met an old friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, a girl, university time friend. And when I met her, in my mind, Shri Mataji's voice said, next time you will meet her, you will be next to your wife. And I had at the time no desire, no plan at all to put my name on the list.
But
Okay.
like you heard that voice, an actual voice.
I had clearly
Since,
the voice like, next time you will meet this person, he will be next to your wife.
wow.
At a Patti Smith concert. Okay, then summer of then I went to Cabela. We spent the summer in Cabela, and then suddenly Shri Mataji decided to go to Australia, to leave Italy for Australia. And it was strange because for the first time in so many years, we were not able as Yuva Shakti to organize a tour, to organize. There was like something preventing us to do. And I say, it's weird, it's strange. I felt like something was going on. I remember Shri Mataji came out from the gate of the castle. I really had the perception that she appeared to me as the second name of the 108, not Shri Mahayagni, the great empress. I remember her eyes like two diamonds, watching this something very, I will never forget that moment. Then mother left, and I told to all the Yuvas and friends, say, guys, are you sure that Shri Mataji is leaving Italy? And everybody told me, Adriano, what did you smoke? Like she just left for... I say, I feel there is something going on. But anyway, mother left. So I went back to Rome, but I stopped in Florence. I love Florence. Florence is Dante's city, beautiful collective. No? Okay. So in the afternoon, I went to Dante's house, to the Dante's museum. And when you are Shakti, especially if you come from outside Sahaja Yoga, you are very disciplined, you are very chaste, you don't look women, you are supposed at least not to not stare at them. So you are very avoiding.
Yeah.
Exactly. But going to Dante's museum woke me up the ideal that anyway in your human evolution you need a Shakti. Okay, you need the female counterpart to be one, because Beatrice, of course, she's the one who saves Dante and leads him, the loved one by Dante, which is a spiritual ideal, not a physical person, that leads him to heaven. So I'm Gemini, so the noble Adriano was persuaded. Now they had to convince the other one, no? Yeah, exactly. So I went out I left the museum, and there was a stand for tourists with a funny T-shirt, and this T-shirt read, there was bride and bridegrooms, and the bride very happy with a bouquet, and the bridegroom very sad, and the shirt read "Game Over." And I said loudly, when Danilo, our sweet brothers, will put his name on the list, I will buy for him. In that moment, an uncle called me and say, Danilo just put his name on the list. That moment. And I say, okay, how much does it cost? So I called him. I say, Danilo, they got you. I already feel the sounds of shackles on your hand. You will never get me, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And then I went to eat a pizza with all the yogis. We were two cars. Suddenly, on the street, the car in front of us stopped. And the yogis, the Italian Sahaja yogis, came out like Italy won the World Cup. Say, what's going on? Shri Mataji is coming back. Shri Mataji, she's coming back to Italy. Shri Mataji stopped in Dubai and said, let's come back to Italy. So we went so happy. So I was ready to come back to Cabella instead of going back to Rome. So we sat at this dinner table. And I was the only not married one. Okay, they were already married.
All the signs.
Exactly. And a
Story of my
yogi,
life.
a yogi said, Adriano, most probably Ganesha Puja in Cabella. And guys, I swear I didn't say that. A voice within me said loud, why not? And then I said, oh my gosh, I'm finished now. And after 1 second, Walter called me and said, oh my gosh, because Matteo from Florence sent him an SMS saying, Adriano just expressed his firm decision to put his name on the list.
He signed.
Walter was like 5 years spending all his ideas and energy to try to convince me. And I say, come on, Walter, I was joking, don't start. And he said, shut up. The sign finally arrived, because I always say there will be a coincidence of numbers, no? The message arrived. You know, in Sahaja Yoga, we have few auspicious numbers, 21, 51, 108, and 7.
108, yeah.
It was the 10th of August of 2007, and it was after dinner. So the message arrived at 21 hours, 51 minutes, 10 of August, 108 of 07. So there were all the auspicious numbers in Sahaja. I say, okay, I will put my name on the list. But I said, I will put my name on the list on Tuesday, on the 21st of August. Because Tuesday is Shri Ganesha's day, at 21st, it's auspicious.
I will put my name on the list.
That day, without any reason, nobody knew it. That was my personal. I was received by Shri Mataji, and I spoke for her like for 1 hour with other yogis. Randomly, we were waiting for hours, and that was the day. It's a beautiful story, because we spent the previous 3 days all dressed properly with kurtas and perfume and oil, while sweet angels, waiting in line with the hope to be received by Shri Mataji, and no. And then happened. we said, why Mother receive us? No, so we just slept in a roulotte, and we were like in tracksuit, no shower, no shave, really like hobos. And they told us, Shri Mataji, she came out. That was the day she went to the outlet, no? And then she suddenly came back, and the weather changed. Do you remember that day that she went to the outlet, and she asked why there is written design on that building? And Marco Acilio said, Mother, because designers works there. And Mother said, I am a good designer. And suddenly the weather changed. It was like raining and stormy, and then became like the first day of creation, like an amazing sky. And Mother, on the way back, she praised Italy the beauty of Italy. Say the Italians, they don't realize how much they're blessed to live here. It's more beautiful than Australia. It's more beautiful than Kashmir in India. No, that's what she said that day. And then when we came back, it was funny because Francesco Sbanders was at the outlet waiting for Shri Mataji, and he bought the whole shop of flowers. So he bought all the flowers that were available, and he was waiting at the entrance of the outlet. But then mother came back, so he came back to the castle, and he was waiting with all these flowers. Say, yeah, I really would like to offer them to Shri Mataji, and then. They say that we could be received by mother, and this is how the divine providence uses also the human flows of yogis to make something beautiful. Because I was not dressing properly, so I asked to a yogi who lived in the castle, sorry, can I borrow a kurta from you? And this guy said, I don't have a kurta. And I say, you're an Indian and you live in the castle and you don't have a kurta. So I was going to his room to steal a kurta, basically. And then going there, I met Francesco with all these flowers. Say, Francesco, we can go to Shri Mataji. So we actually burst into mother's room,
Flowers.
and was like really like a skits of, Buster Keaton, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, because we stumble of each other. We have done namaskar stumbling on each other, and all the flowers came like sliding on the carpet towards Shri Mataji's feet. It was like a comical skit. And mother said, thank you for the flowers. It was really and then we spent like 1 hour, and it was, of course, the most important day of my life. But nobody knew that I already decided in my heart to put the name on the list.
That was the day that you wanted to put the name on the list?
That was the day. And maybe that's why I had the huge blessing to be married with such an amazing angel.
So the essence of the story is, I will do it, but only after my ego is satisfied.
Of course, we have to tame the beast. We have to tame the. Mother says we have to tease our ego, because if we fight our ego will get stronger and bigger.
Make fun of
our ego is like a balloon that will, vanish and fly away.
Yeah. Before leaving it out to Lele to close it, because Lele, you are the alpha and the omega of the podcast, the
and
beginning
the sleepy
and the end.
one also.
No, but I just wanted to say thank you, Adri. And this is really what I appreciate a lot of you, is that the fact that one with you can have a very intense, intellectual, also maybe strongly mental discussion and look at dynamics and stuff like that. But at the same time, then hear these, stories full of funny things also happening, nice coincidence, and full of love and devotion for Shri Mataji. And I think also that's a bit what we wanted to say tonight, to everyone. I feel is this sense of the brain is not evil, is also not the answer. There is the beauty. Sahaja is the beauty. Sahaja is God. We can achieve that. Tool. Exactly, it's a tool that we can use whenever is right. But also, ultimately, Sahaj is the last 10 minutes of all the stories you've been said, because that's the ultimate, beauty and goal and love of what we really. So thank you so much for sharing that and taking us there.
Yeah, so today we have talked about fanaticism, mentalism, wisdom, how to deal and not deal with the mafia, the Pope getting punched on his face, and many other things. Thank you really much, Adriano. Thank you really much, Fabrizio. This is Sahaj Times Podcast. Thank you really much to everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.